be a very short, very basic introduction to 7-string. Hopefully this will help some of you guys who don't really know anything about a 7-string or not very familiar with it to understand it a little bit better, at least the basic concepts of it. I'm going to explain in pretty simple terms. I know diddly squat about theory, so this just goes to show you don't need a whole lot of theory. You don't need to be, a shred master like Steve Vai or John Petrucci to understand and play a 7-string how you want to play it. Believe me, if I can do it, you can do it, okay? So what we're going to do is we're just going to go over what the 7-string is, and it's really nothing more than a 6-string guitar with an extra string added to it on the top, on the low end. So we have a low B string. Now, as we all know, in standard tuning, you have yourself an E, A, D, G, B, E, right? Standard 6-string setup. So now we're just adding a low B string. Well, what does that mean? Okay, we're adding a few extra notes, right? And I know a lot of people look at a 7-string and they say, oh, I don't even know what to do with 6 strings. I can't handle the 7-string. Well, here's the thing. We're only adding 5 notes to what you already know. That's it. 5 notes are added to what you already know. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Because guess what? At the 5th fret, here's your low E. You already have that note. Here's your E. That's the same notes as... So you're not really adding a whole lot. You just have 5 extra notes that you're adding. Say, okay, well that's great. It's only 5 extra notes, but how am I supposed to get used to where those notes are at? Because they're in a different position now, right? Well, you're right, but I'm glad you asked that. Here we go. Check this out. All right. Let's not fret anything. And we're just going to go straight open strings. All right. You know where your notes are with that, right? Someone asks you for a D, right? You're going to go E, A, D, and you're just going to hit the string open. You know where your D string is, so you know what the D note is, right? Someone asks for an A. You know where your A is, right? Someone asks for an E. You say, well, hang on, I got 2 E's. I got a low E, and I got a high E. Well, guess what? If someone asks for B string, or B note, sorry, B note, hey, I got 2 of those now too. There's a high B, now I have a low B string. What does that mean? That means all of your notes on your existing B string are the exact same notes that are on your new B string. So really, you're not really adding anything you don't already know. If you know where your notes are on your high B string, then you know your notes on your low B string, don't you? Because it's exactly the same as having 2 E strings. The pattern just repeats itself. E, A, D, G, B, and then it repeats. E. If you would continue, it would go E, A, D, G, B, E. If you went this way, it would continue the opposite way, and that's exactly what we're doing. So we're going from a low E to a low B, just like we go from a high E to a high B. How does that translate with where your notes and positions are? Very simple. Let's start with a very simple scale, all right? Simple scale that you'd play on a 6-string starting with the E string. Simple scale, pretty much everybody knows that, right? Okay, so all you got to do is, as we all know, scales are patterns, right? So you follow your pattern. All you have to do is follow your pattern from your high E to your low B. From your high E to your high B, and follow the exact same pattern from your low B, E to your low B. So whatever pattern you're going to play in your scale, it doesn't matter what the scale is. Any scale you choose, the pattern that you use from high E to high B is the exact same pattern you're going to use when you come down here to your low E to your low B. And there's your scale. You can take any existing scale that you already know and transfer it to a 7-string simply by using the same pattern from your high E to your high B, because the notes are exactly the same. They're identical. So you just move your pattern here. So any scale you have that you end, when you end your scale on your low E string, any scale, doesn't matter what it is, just continue the pattern one more string as if you were playing on your high B string. And there's your notes. There's your scale, there's your notes, there's your theory that you want to work into, right? That's all you have to do. So now you can take your existing notes, your existing scales, and transfer them over to a 7-string simply by following your scale patterns. If you know your scale patterns and you know your notes, and you know your notes and your scales on your high B string, you know them on your low B string. You already know it, okay? If you don't know it, then you can learn it, right? Now, the easiest thing to do on a 7-string, if you've never played a 7-string before, the easiest thing to do is to take all of the theory and throw it out the window. Forget it. The easiest thing is just to pick it up and play on it as if it's not even a 7-string. Just play it like you would normally play a 6-string. Doesn't matter what you play. Play anything you already know and just play it as if you're playing on a 6-string. It doesn't matter. Does not matter, because you still have your same chord shapes, right? Because the B and E string are a fifth apart, just like the E and A string, which means you can put your, all right, I guess I'm getting into a little bit of theory here, right? But this is simple stuff here. All you got to do, if you want to make a power chord on your E string, there's your power chord. All you got to do for a 7-string is the exact same thing. There's your power chord. You would play it exactly like you play a 6-string. There's no difference, right? If you want to drop tune it, you can drop tune the B string, and then your note comes over 2 frets, right? So then you would bar it right here, just like you're playing in drop D. No different. So you can play drop, it would be called drop A, because you'd be lowering the B string down to an A note. So you could play in drop A, just like you would normally play drop D, or you can play in B standard, just like you play in E standard. And it doesn't matter what you play. You know, you want to play Metallica? Play Metallica. You want to play Sabbath? Play Black Sabbath. Doesn't matter. Play it like you normally play it. Get used to the neck, get used to the feel of the neck, get used to having the extra string on there. Once you're used to it and you just jam on it for a while, then you start applying your theory later. You get comfortable with it, start applying your theory, and then you start realizing where the notes are, where the scale patterns, how the scale patterns run in, and then you can realize, oh, if I need a low E, I can hit it there too. I don't have to just go, I can go. And that might help you if you're playing, say you're playing a riff up here, right? And you need a low E. Instead of jumping all the way down here for a low E, now when you're playing up here, you know, you can just jump to your low E right there instead of coming all the way down here and then back again. So it opens up a few more possibilities for you that way. But there you have it. Hopefully that helps you guys out a little bit. It's just a very basic, simple concept of how to think about the 7-string and how the 7-string works, and to not overthink it, because that's really the key with the 7-string. Don't overthink it. Just play it. Just jam on it. And then once you get comfortable with it, then you apply your theory. Then you start to think about these extra chord shapes you can do, these extra movements you can make, and how the scale patterns work. Because the scale patterns is what you already know. So if you know how to play a 6-string, trust me, if you know how to play a 6-string, you know how to play a 7-string. You just have to get over that hurdle in your head of what the extra 7-string is there for. Okay? Once you get over that hurdle and realize that it's already on your guitar and you already know it, it'll be much easier for you, and it'll come a lot easier. And the more you play it, the more you get comfortable with it. It seems wide at first. It seems like a runway, right? When you first pick up a 7-string, but trust me, the more you play it, the more it gets comfortable, and then you go to a 6-string, and a 6-string feels like a toy. So, but there you go. Hopefully that helps you guys out. I hope I didn't ramble too much. Thanks for watching, and jam.